Hey, welcome to Rust Revival Garage. My name is Tim. It's time I get back on my Pontiac Le Mans, and I need to basically get a good setup for my fuel pressure regulator. If you remember, I just sort of threw one on there in order for me to be able to go to the Good Guys show and to the Pontiac Nationals, which is all the way up in Norwalk, about 2 hours away and back. Anyway, I just sort of threw it on there, and it's just literally just hanging there. So I need to get that set up. Another thing that people also suggested when I did that video was, why didn't you throw in a gauge? You got to have a gauge. And they were right. And so I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So let's get to it. All right, so I ran up to Jegs, got a gauge for the pressure regulator and the fittings I need. And this is kind of cool. So I go into Jegs, right, and I'm talking to the guy who's looking up the part for me, and I look up on the wall, and one of the TVs is showing video. And the video, I looked at it and I went, that looks kind of familiar. Then I looked at one of the shots from the video and I'm like, that's one of my videos. And sure enough, Jegs was playing the video that I had from the Pontiac Nationals, and I recognized it and was like, oh my God, and all the employees are standing around looking at it because I was like, that's my video. So that was really kind of cool. Not something you'd expect to see. But anyway, thanks to Jegs for having my video on and showing it in the store. That was kind of cool. Oh, so yeah, it's kind of dark down here, but you can just see this is my fuel pressure regulator. And I need to get it mounted somewhere. First thing I gotta do is get the fuel regulator off, which is really hard with one hand. Alright, so that side is free. How am I going to get that off? It was a pain to get on. Alright, not too much fuel. It's all in the regulator. Alright, capped it off a little bit. Now if I can just problem solved. And I can cap that bolt. So hopefully no more fuel comes out. Alright, got that. Alright, so I made a little slit in there. That allows me to get that off. Alright. So I guess I need to take the bracket off and figure out a place to mount it. Okay, so the fuel pump is down in here. Fuel line comes over to this side, so maybe if I mount it somewhere in here, fuel line can come up to here. I can route it behind the alternator and then be able to come up to here. So what do we think? I don't like having fuel that close to the alternator, but I don't know what choice I have. I'm thinking that might be my best bet. And I just, yeah, okay. Alright, so I've got the old one out. And I can get the new one in so that I can install the gauge. Alright, so there is where the gauge goes. This is the new sort of nipple for the fuel line. And you guys tell me, do I need the yellow tape in here? I used it last time, but apparently with the AN stuff you don't need to use it, so I'm going to try it without it. If I get any leaks, I guess I can switch it around. But that goes like that. And then this will go here. Like that. And then this, I guess I better put the gauge on afterwards. But then this will go in here like this. So that way I've got the gauge regulator in from the fuel line out to the carb. All right, so I've got that all nice and tight, good to go. I guess now it's just mounting. I gotta get this mounting bracket off. Okay, I've got my marks. I think that should work. All right, nice and sturdy. Okay, now my power steering hoses are really in the way here, but I think I should still be able to feed it up and around and get over to the carb. Now, when I said I did have a problem, I just realized I forgot to tell you. When I was going up to Norwalk, it was the first time I'd really had it on the freeway for a long period of time. And if I would get above 65 miles an hour, I would feel it sort of sputtering out, like it was losing some fuel, which means that I did not have a good enough fuel pressure to keep it going all the way up to the carb when it was needing a lot more. I did do, before I took off for Norwalk, I did do a test run on the freeway and everything was fine. But then, you know, like I said, when I was going about 65 or something, it was not happy. If I had gone up to 70, 75, who knows? So while I was at the Pontiac Nationals, I actually got under the car, cranked the bolts down a little bit more to give it some more pressure. And when I came home, I didn't have any issues. I think maybe there was one time. So again, I'm really kind of curious to see what the pressure is. And it could be an issue of just not having it far enough down. And, you know, it just might not have been enough for highway speed. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious now to see what this gauge is going to read. All right, putting my new fuel line on. It's a bit longer. And I'll get that tightened down. And I've got to run it away from the exhaust manifold, down below to the fuel pump. All right, so that is tight. Now I've got it down below my negative cable, just above the power steering, and underneath my positive cable that runs back to the starter. So I think it should be, I will zip tie it I think, but it should be well and good away from the exhaust manifold. Alright, so yeah, it's going to come down here. I've got to get a clamp on there, but then we'll go right up into there. I think that will work. I don't even need to cut it. And then I'll run this up to the regulator, which goes to the carb. All right. And I will get that clamp on and we should be good. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna come right up here. I don't even need to cut it. All right, gotta tighten that clamp down. Nice and tight. There we go. You can see the gauge. It's on there well. I think we might be fine. And I've got this coating on here, which should keep it away from the alternator and the engine heat. And that's it. I really just need to test it now, make sure there's no leaks, and see what the pressure is. So I've got to go eat dinner, so I can't do it right now. Might even end up being tomorrow, but yeah, that's it. Everything's hooked up. Just got to see what happens. And I just realized I've got it backwards. This is supposed to be the in, this is supposed to be the out. Crap. All right, got that sorted. Got the in coming here, and as you can see, there's a little out right there. That's what's going to be going to the carb. I guess I should give it a test now. Let's test her out. Probably got to give it some fuel to get it to start. Take a look at the pressure gauge to see what it says. Looks like it's about 10. All right, it's a little high. So it looks like I maybe gave it a little too much when I was in Norwalk. I'm gonna dial it down a little bit, but for the most part, there's no leaks. I've got it up out of the way now. I've got a gauge on there. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. All right, so it turns out I do have a leak here. I think I'm gonna have to use the yellow tape on this one because it pretty much was leaking. Yes, I did just figure it out. I have the fuel pressure gauge where it's going in, not where it's coming out. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it. I'm pretty sure that you guys were all just screaming at me. You were screaming at your phone, at your television, whatever, as you were watching that. I can guarantee you were, because as soon as I sat down thinking, oh, that's good, and I went, it's on the other side. So I feel you guys. I know, because like I said, I'm sure you were screaming. But I got to figure it out. Let's test it again. Now the gauge is on the other side of the regulator. And look at that. It's way low. Now I've got it up to 5 psi. I didn't really have much more room on that bolt. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but that was way too low. I mean, I adjusted it thinking I was going to do better. This should be fine now. I mean, it literally had way too much fuel pressure going through that regulator. It could be the regulator. It's Jegs. Who knows where that came from? Probably China. So yeah, but that's, now that I can see it and adjust it, certainly helps. So thanks to everybody in the comments who said put a gauge on there. And so I've got a gauge on there now. Now I'm happy. I'm going to run this and make sure everything is good, but I cannot believe I got that wrong. But I can believe it because I just wasn't paying attention. So anyway, leave me a comment down below if you got suggestions for me. Give me a like if you got anything out of the video. I'd appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed, please do. I'd like that too. But thank you very much for tuning in to me and my idiocy. Do not follow me for advice. Go find some better mechanics on YouTube because I'm literally just figuring this out. This is the first time I've ever done a fuel pressure regulator. And I got it wrong, but figured it out. So I'm learning. That's good. So thank you very much for tuning in. We will catch you next time.